Listen, incels, you're in a perfect position, and I'll tell you why. The guys that are going out on a Friday and Saturday night, getting drunk, fucking all these girls, and having the time of their life, they don't have a lot of spare time, and the time they do have, they're using to chase women, fuck women, go to these parties, etc. You're lucky, because you don't have that distraction. Guys, and I guess a lot of new people. This won't be probably the normal subscribers watching this. This might be a lot of new people finding this channel, finding the brand. I see a lot of news out there about incels killing women, you know, causing a lot of crime based off the fact that they can't get sex. Okay. Now, I've got to be careful with this video, but I am going to just say it as it is. A lot of these guys are getting a lot of shit, and I think if you killed a bunch of women, then yeah, you should. Okay, you should get a lot of shit. Guys, whoever's listening to this, that's a no-go. That's just a no-go option. Okay. But instead of the media just kind of pointing the finger at all of these guys, I think there needs to be more of a proactive approach to helping and understanding what these guys are going through, which is never going to come from the mainstream media. And which, with no offense, is never going to come from a woman. Women aren't going to understand what these guys are going through. Now I do. 2 points. We've all been through dry spells with women. We've all been in that position where women have kind of just been horrible, right? Like, my second point was going to be women can be bitches, which is fair enough. You could go up to a group of girls, you've read the game, you've read all these pickup books, you've got all the tricks in the world, you're feeling confident, and she looks you up and down, gives you the worst look ever, demonic look, she laughs at you, and all her friends laugh at you, and you walk away and you feel about that small, right? And then some other guy comes over and just shouts loudly, grabs her, picks her up, takes her away, and you're like, fuck, that guy's an asshole. How is he getting sex and I'm not? Like, we've all seen that situation where we've not been the guy in high school or something, or even on the street or in a club. Like, we just don't fit in. That's not our environment. You know, and like I said, women can be horrible. Women can be scathing. You know, if you weren't born with the best genetics, if you weren't Brad Pitt with the body of Mr. Olympia, it can be difficult. It can be really, really difficult. And you see a lot of guys who are virgins until like they're 40 years old. That's tough. You'll see online a lot of women will laugh at that and say, "Oh yeah, I knew this would be the case." Virgin for that's not the way to do it. Okay, you're going to turn somebody into a murderer. This is why 40 people got blown up at high school or shot or whatever, because you're antagonizing them. You know, people will fight back. You'll get to a certain point and then people will crack. Like, everybody has a limit, and I'm not condoning the incel behavior. But I do want to help, and I don't understand the behavior, but I can understand in any scenario in life just taking so much that you just lose your shit. Like, we've all been in a scenario where somebody's annoyed us so much and we've said, look, stop, and you end up just punching them. You know, so it can blow out of proportion based on your temperament in so many different scenarios. But killing women is not the answer, guys, and this is where I want to help. So a lot of guys need to understand and realize that sex, and I don't even like saying this, but sex is there a better way of phrasing it? Is that right there? Sex is earned. I didn't want to say sex is a reward, because it's not really a reward. Sex is earned. You don't just get sex. Now, the guys that are maybe 25 years old with a six-pack, massive chest, huge dick, deep voice, he might be getting sex relentlessly currently. When he's 45 years old, he's broke, he's bold, he's lost all these, you know, boyish traits, and women looking for something else, he won't do. Everybody kind of gets their time. I was watching a Mike Tyson podcast the other day with Eminem. Very good, actually, everyone should watch it. And he was talking about how when he was young, he peaked early. He peaked at about 25. He said some guys peak at like 14, 16. I think it's based on kind of like weight to movement ratio. You know, some guys might put on a kilo or 2 kilos and it just throws their entire body off balance in terms of boxing. You get it in football, soccer that I watch. Some guys at 21, you think, wow, how good are they gonna be? And they never fulfill that promise. Some guys start slow, Kevin De Bruyne, for example, and then by 27, 28, one of the best players in the world, if not in form the best before the coronavirus, the best in form right now. And not everybody peaks young. And it's hard to understand that, especially when you're not getting sex. But the way to go about it is not to hate women. But it's hard, guys, I get it. You could be 14 years old until 28 years old and you're super awkward. You know, you haven't grown into your looks. You were born with maybe a skinny frame. You know, your face just didn't grow like other people's did. Maybe you have a few flaws. I've got big ears. You know, it sucks to have these flaws. Ideally, we all want to look like Brad Pitt from day one, but it's so rare to look that way. But one way to get this, guys, one way to move forward in life, one way to push all this shit forward is not to go inwards and hate people. It's not to just grab all that shit and just leave, just have that poison inside of you and just say, fuck her, fuck him, fuck that person, point, blame, get angry and whatever. Not being able to get women, like I said, sex is earned. Not being able to get women is a signal that you're not good enough right now. And that's okay, because we've pretty much all been there. Pretty much every guy, bar 0.5, 1%, who are just naturally good looking, naturally in shape, naturally bigger than average. You know, most guys are not getting sex as often as they say they are. A lot of guys are lying about that. They're lying through their teeth. And I remember Dan Bilzerian said on a podcast that he reckons around about 5% of the guys, 5% of guys are fucking like 90% of the women. And I think that's true. It's hard to get women. A lot of guys won't openly say that. They'll say it's easy. I fuck 10 girls a week. Sure you do, buddy. Sure you do. But let's see what these girls look like as well. You know, are they twos? Are they ones? You know, because anybody can do that. Is it the girl that wants you? You don't want her, but you do it anyway just to get a nut? Because that's not great either, right? But if you really want to get more women, like I said, sex is earned. You don't get it from the outset. Some guys do, most don't. So how do you do it? Now you've got to take that on the chin and realise that we live in a society where young, beautiful women are second only to rich and powerful men. It's the way it is, guys. You know, sometimes you've got to just play the game. It's not nice, none of us like it, you've got to play the game, right? Beautiful 5'10" woman in heels and a tight red dress walks in, dark hair, dark eyes, you know, the whole room just turns and looks, right? It is what it is. How do you get to the top? And I'm not saying chase women, and it comes from my favourite quote. Don't chase what you want, improve yourself until what you want chases you. Something along those lines. Incels need to turn and live by that ethos. You can't live the way you're currently living, guys. It's not healthy, it's not helping anybody. And I know it sucks dick, but you need to go after that chase motto, you know, for them to chase you. So instead of sitting there and hating women and going into a forum and saying I had this story and that story, and I know sometimes you need to vent and maybe get your story out there and then get out of it. It can be a toxic environment. Here's what you could do, and any guy could do. You can do orthotropics, which can improve your face dramatically. I've done a documentary on it, search it, and if it doesn't make you look like Brad Pitt, it's going to make you look better, it's going to help, okay? Any guy in the world, any guy, can have the perfect body. Now you might not look like Anthony Joshua, but for you can have a perfect body. Any guy can add 20 kilograms, I don't know what it'd be in America, I don't know how many pounds that would be, but any guy can add a bunch of muscle to their frame, improve their posture, do exercises that improve their posture, eat clean, stay away from alcohol, you know, things like this, and just look better on the outside. You know, an ugly guy with a great body is still an attractive guy. I've met women in the past that have said, I don't care what a guy looks like, if he's got a six-pack, I'm all over him, okay? So, you know, or if he's in shape, or if he's muscular, or if he's got a big, strong dad bod, like it's not so much about the six-pack. You know, every guy in the world can improve the way they dress. Every single guy in the world can become successful unless they're horrendously stupid. And even then, you know, look at some of these reality TV stars. Not that I'm saying go down that route. I'm saying, listen, incels, you're in a perfect position. And I'll tell you why. The guys that are going out on a Friday and Saturday night, getting drunk, fucking all these girls, and having the time of their life, they don't have a lot of spare time, and the time they do have, they're using to chase women, fuck women, go to these parties, etc. You're lucky because you don't have that distraction. You're at home and you don't have to resist that text from that gorgeous blonde. You don't have to resist that naked picture at 3 a.m. in the morning saying, do you want to come round? Like, you guys can just wake up every day and just focus on one thing and just focus on your shit. You can focus on getting in the best shape of your life and starting a successful business for the first 16 years of your life until you're 30 years old. And at 30 years old, let's say you're ugly, who gives a shit? Let's say you've made the best of yourself in terms of your facial looks, you've been doing orthotropics for 16 years, it makes you look way better. Let's say you've bought some really nice clothes, you're a sharp guy. Let's say you've become massively successful, you've got some great assets, you know, you're a mature guy, you're well-read, you know 4 or 5 languages. Let's say you've been in the gym for 16 years and you look fucking tremendous, you've got the body of a god. You combine all that together and you're a little bit ugly and you've never had sex before. I can guarantee you, at 30 years old, a guy who's never had sex before, who has all of those assets, is a golden goose in the eyes of women. Because he's not a dick, he's not built up a million numbers. You know, if you're a good guy and you're humble and you're still confident in yourself, you could even use the whole thing of I'm saving myself for one woman. That women will eat that shit up. You could be the ugliest guy on the planet as long as you've got all the other features going on around you. Guys, I promise you, you're going to kill it. And this is what I mean by sex is earned. You could have the college jock. I know you Americans love that Chad shit, right? This guy could sleep with 50 to 60 women from the age of 16 to 26. And then it could start to slow down and he sleeps with 2 or 3 women from 26 to 46. Maybe he gets married, maybe finds one, maybe gets somebody pregnant by accident. You could sleep with 0 women up to the age of 30 and then all the way till 50 because you've built this amazing life. You could sleep with 300 women and end up marrying a supermodel. That's entirely possible. But going on a gun rampage or hating women or saying, you know, fuck all women early on in life, I think you're judging it too soon. And if you don't want women, fine, you know, just don't do it. But the incels out there that are listening to this, it won't be all of you. I'm going to get a lot of hate in the comments, etc. I'm not trying to do that. Like I said, I somewhat understand where you guys are coming from as a man. I don't understand the murdering thing or whatever, but I know it's not all about that. I get that, guys. But, you know, be proactive, not reactive. And I know it's easy to say if somebody's got their life sorted or they've been in the gym for X amount of years, it's easy for them to be like, look, just get in the gym, you can fuck bitches. And I know that's not what life's about, but if that's your biggest problem and that's something you want to improve, it's an easy fix, guys. Self-improvement will get you there. And let's say you're an 18-year-old guy, you've got like 12 years till you're 30. Do you know what you can do in 12 years? You could probably learn 3 languages, super attractive. You could earn a ton of money, massively attractive. You could build some great assets, as in have a nice home, have a car, really nice car. You could have big money in the bank. Do you know how many women get to 30 and, you know, their youth's fading away and they've not quite got the life they want, and they're looking for somebody who's figured all that shit out, who's not maybe as attractive as the guy she used to go with. It's a bankable thing. It's like gold at 30 years old. You know, a guy who dresses well, smells good, treats people with respect, maybe does charity work, you know, trust me, if you build this whole life around you, instead of complaining and being reactive, if you go proactive and build this whole life around it, guys, trust me, it is the jackpot. And that proactive moving forward, self-improvement, men's lifestyle, just dedicating yourself to every day, what can I do to be better? Yeah, I've got a massive nose, big ears, I've got, you know, whatever, it is what it is. These are the cards I've been dealt. I'm going to improve in other areas of life. It's not going to matter when you compare the two together. You know, and even if you did become rich, and I don't condone this, and you wanted to get your ears pinned back with surgery, then you could probably do it with the money you'd have. But it shouldn't take that. It shouldn't be that option. But you can boost the things that are able to be improved and modified. You should be working on every day. Anybody should. And this is why I actually think incels have an advantage. And I've said this before, but I've had a fat guy advantage, that fat guys can get in better shape than in-shape guys. Number one, because of the motivation, and number two, because they're halfway towards having that big, thick frame, you know, big and shredded. Excuse me. And I think incels are in the perfect situation where they have time, they have 0 distractions, they have a big motivating factor. The guy who's going bald will know more about hair than a guy who has a full head of hair and is a hair doctor. Because the guy who's going bald will research it more. You see this with cancer. Cancer patients know way more than the doctors because they give a shit. And incels will be the same. Incels probably know more about women, how women work. They probably know how to improve more than, or they want to improve more than the guy who's been born with great genetics and has fucked 50 women, who thinks he knows everything about women. But really he's just been handed the genetics on a plate. And as you get older, that'll fade away. And the guys who put in the most work now will come to the top. And you'll see that time and time again. The guy who gets the most girls doesn't put the work in. He's out drinking beer. He just thinks women are going to come to him naturally because he's cocky. He's kind of like a hedge fund kid. Just expects money from daddy on a plate every month. And the good-looking guys, the in-shape guys, naturally, they don't improve. They don't move forward. They stay and remain the same. And by 30 and beyond, they can't get the women they used to. Women aren't interested. It's the tech geek that put 10 years into a business that ends up landing the supermodel. It's always the same way. You look at somebody like Evan Spiegel. He's with that supermodel now, the Australian supermodel. Now, when he was in school, everybody would have. If he had said, "I'm going to be with her soon," everybody would have laughed. But he put in some work. He built a business, became super successful, became a billionaire. Suddenly, he's on top of the pile. And I'm not saying it takes money. You could have a business that earns 100 grand a year. You could have great assets, as in a great car, great home. You can know 2 or 3 languages. You could travel a lot. You have complete freedom because you work for yourself. You have 7 employees, and that's seen as attractive or something. I'm not saying 100 grand to pay for 7 employees. I'm saying that's what you could pay yourself after all bills including staff and wages, etc. You could have all this going on for you. You could be a great guy. You could be doing charity work. You could be going down to dog homes, shelters, and walking the dogs on weekends. Women will notice this shit. But sitting in your bedroom in the dark and getting annoyed and planning out murders, guys, it's not going to improve anything. It's not going to improve shit. You need to be proactive. And I guess what I'm trying to say, to summarize this, if there's still, incel guys listen to this, and I hope there is, because this is the only way out of where you're in right now, is that the reason you do all this improvement isn't to sleep with the women, to attract the women. It isn't to make sure that they will now accept you and be on their list of, oh, I like him, or get their attention or whatever. The reason you do it is just for you. You just improve for you. You just put your head down, you close your eyes, you just get on with life. Each day you say, what can I do? I'm going to stop masturbating. I'm going to stop watching porn. I'm going to learn a language. I'm going to go for morning runs. I'm going to start eating clean. I'm going to go vegan. Just these little things, whichever appeals to you or whatever you think is a good cause, or I'm gonna get that spare £1,000 and increase my wardrobe. I'm gonna put this £5,000 that I had spare that I was gonna use for, I won't make any jokes, that I was gonna use for a new car or something. I'm gonna put this into my business, and I'm 24, so I'm gonna give myself 10 years till I'm 34 to just work on this business and grow it to where I think it could be. Oh, and guess what? It happened quicker than you thought it would because you've got all the spare time. You're 29 years old, you're a multi-millionaire. Well, not even that, you're earning 200,000 a year. Like, if you're the one that just goes inside yourself and just says, okay, I'm going to focus on me, and puts all his attention into that, you're going to overtake those chads. You're going to overtake those college kids that had all the women young. They're sleeping with them now, but fast forward 10 years, they're going to be as pissed off as you are right now. It's a long-term game, guys.